decks and started winning with them. So then, you know, if you're going to play 2, play 4. Come on now. Let's have a good time.
Exciting card. Nicholas Mudd on the left is playing Black, White, Red Humans. And Michael Belfatto, local bit of a ringer, is playing the Black Green Rock deck.
All right, so the Rock deck is kind of similar to it looks kind of like the mono Black, White deck. It's got Disciple of Bolas, it's got Desecration Demon, but instead of the white creatures, we are replacing it with green Oozes and Thragtusks. Similar playing spells too. It's got Mutilate in it, Sign in Blood, Liliana, very similar. All right, so it looks like we're starting with a Sign in Blood, pretty good on the play. You know, fill up to 7 if you didn't mulligan.
Yep.
I told Patrick earlier that if it was blue, draw 2 for pay 2 life, I'd play that card. I think
he'd play it if it was pay 5 life.
Right. Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. If I'm drawing 2 cards for 2 mana, I'm pretty stoked.
Nicholas's opener doesn't actually seem that great in this matchup. He's got a bunch of Blood Artists, which are a little mediocre against the Rock.
Yeah.
But he does have Cartel Aristocrat. Running it out naked against Blacklands, though, I'm not a big fan of that.
Right.
One of the perks to Cartel Aristocrat is it's so hard to remove from the field, and this is an ideal spot for Michael to just kill it at will. Right.
Michael can have any series of Lilianas here. Abrupt Decay kills it. Putrefy. The only card that doesn't hit in his deck is Doomblade. It looks like he does not have it, though. Did Michael miss his 3rd land drop?
Yes, he did. Michael missed his 3rd land drop despite Sign and Blooding on the play.
Oh, man, that's just bad luck.
Nicholas is going to try Gather the Townsfolk now. If this resolves, then Nicholas becomes a pretty significant favorite, and it looks like it is.
Yeah, only
Michael
card
does not have a Decay.
Yeah. The Decay was his only out there for 2 mana anyway. And it's just pretty rough. You know, I'd keep a 2-land Sign of Blood hand. I don't care what the other cards are, to be honest. It's good enough. I see the Doomblade in his hand, and I was weary of Doomblade myself. Even if I was playing Esper currently, there's just so many cards that it can't kill. Like, it can't kill Aristocrats, any variety of them. It can't kill Olivia Boulder. There's just so many powerful cards like Victim of Night. He's playing mono black, pretty much kills everything. I mean, that doesn't kill the Aristocrat. Actually, doesn't kill any of those cards as mentioned. Retract that statement. Kills Osbadet, though.
Yeah.
Obsidet. Aristocrat numero dos.
It's going to be real tough for Michael to draw out of. He needs to draw a land, have a way to fade for a turn, and then hit another land and have a Mutilate. That's asking for a lot.
That is asking for a lot.
And yep, he doesn't have any of those
lifts them all up. I've seen a lot of profit loss, right? They have that -1/-1 to all creatures. I've seen the popularity of that card increase because of this Black, White, Red Human deck. It does a lot of good if you don't have access to Golgari Charm. But Michael Belfatto does have access to Golgari Charm. He's bringing in 2 from the sideboard. Obviously bringing in Ratchet Bomb 2. He has Victim of Night, like I mentioned, but obviously not very good against even though it says humans, there's a lot of vampire-esque things in there, like the Aristocrat himself. Even cards like Zathra Necromancer, you're not really stoked about Victim of Nighting that. So
it might just be better than the Doomblades, though.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that.
They both kill Champion of the Parish, and you know the victim can hit a few other cards, namely Cartel Aristocrat, High Priest, and even in a pinch a Blood Artist.
Right.
So I think it's fine to just make that switch.
Yeah, is Blood Artist a vampire?
Or sorry, yeah, you're right.
Only reason I remember that, and this is very, very specific, in a PTQ I straight confidently cast on one, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so he's got a pretty easy board in. Ratchet Bomb's Golgari Charm, bring him on in, so.
Yeah, the High Priest was the card I meant to name there, so.
Right.
Moving to Nicholas' sideboard, he has a fair number of anti-control options. He has Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, in combination with Intangible Virtue. That's a well-known package for putting a hurting on token mirrors and on control decks. He also has access to 2 Sin Collectors, and he's also got 2 Zealous Conscripts. I don't know if you've ever cast a Zealous Conscript against a Desecration Demon.
I haven't
But
yet.
neither have I. People do it to me all the time, and I really wish they would stop.
I've had him take my Tameo and Ultimate a few times. That's been a nightmare.
That sounds more like something that would happen to you.
That's a nightmare.
He also has a couple Lifebane Zombies. I'm not really excited about them because they get blocked by a lot of the creatures in Michael Belfatto's deck. But at the same time, they are a pretty reasonable way to head Thragtusk off at the pass, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was tempted to bring in 1 or 2 of those, just cuz.
Right. He does have a 3rd Lingering Soul, so he gets some points back, some cool points back.
I imagine that goes with his Sorin Intangible Virtue package generally, so he's got a lot of options for what to bring in here.
Right.
I imagine he's getting rid of the Blood Artist and the High Priest, and just turning into more of a tokens value deck post-board, so that's 7 cards out. We've already discussed Virtue, Sorin, and the Lingering Souls as a 5-card package. Beyond that, he's got 2 more slots, so I think I'd just spend them on probably the Sin Collectors, but I would really want those Zealous Constructs. Maybe take out some Tragic Slips. Go down to like 2 Slips.
Yeah,
bring in the
doesn't really hit
Conscripts
too much in the opposing deck here.
Yeah.
I mean, you...
Ooze is the only like really big thing, and even then it's kind of tricky to kill it.
Right,
with
yeah.
a slip, so...
It depends on how worried are you about Desecration Demon. And I guess if you're playing indie deck, I guess this is the deck where you're not too afraid of Demon, because you have so many things you can just fodder, you can sack to it. And we've seen over the weekend that a lot of people will just sack things to it, just forget about it, and then all of a sudden they play Disciple and draw 10 cards, and you're just sad. You know, it's just a huge switch here. And actually, after you mentioned that Michael Belfatto is a ringer, I have seen him a few times, actually. Yeah, he was a very recognizable face there.
He won. An interesting point of trivia, Michael Belfatto actually eliminated me from my first Open Series top 8, which is the Columbus Legacy Open. Incidentally, my first Legacy Open.
Okay.
I think my first Legacy tournament, too. I don't know. So, yeah, you know, it was kind of... I don't hold it against him or anything.
Right,
you know, I'm not bitter or spiteful or...
Of course not.
...really frustrated about that particular... He did miracle a blue card for the Forcible in his hand with a random top draw. You know? There's nothing serious that stopped me from winning that game.
Something that was statistically probable probably stopped you there.
I wouldn't still go so far as to say probable. I haven't calculated those odds. You know, I don't know exactly that it was 27% or anything like that.
Right.
But he was also having a really good weekend that weekend. Actually, it was Columbus when we were at Origins in 2012. And he won the Standard Open and made, I believe, top 4 in the Legacy Open. So he had Jerry T in a sweat there as joining him on the back-to-back train, but he wound up not being able to close that out. Eric Rill actually won that Legacy Open. His first one. Eric Rill, also a local ringer from this area and in attendance here today.
And he's playing Jun, so a few cool points off. You know, he's still a nice guy, but
yeah, he won his last Standard Open, I believe, in this very room. That was his second Open win, and I believe he was playing Naya. And I think it was Cincinnati. So Eric Rill, also, you know, pretty reasonable competitor. He top 8'd in New Jersey, the Legacy Open after the Invitational. He was playing Ant there, essentially on a dare. One of his friends said, you know, this deck is probably too hard for you to just pick it up and play it. He decided to call him out, picked it up, played it right into the Legacy Open top 8.
That's pretty funny. Nothing better than that. I remember Michael J. Flores joking me about Esper before the second Invitational top 8, saying it's garbage, you'll never win with it. And then he just tweets something funny like, all right, fine, Shaheen, fine. We all get it. All right, so we're going off to the races here. Belfatto down a game.
Mutual keeps, it looks like.
Yeah, I think so.
Nicholas, he has Intangible Virtual Lingering Soul, so he's off to a fine start, but I also see Blood Artist in his hand. Not a card I'm excited to have in this matchup.
No, I think he's got, and there's
the Ooze. That'll put a hurting on those Lingering Souls. He's going to run it out slow now. I imagine we'll go like turn 2 Virtue. I think he has a Necromancer in his hand too. So turn 2 Virtue, turn 3 Necromancer, turn 4 maybe we play this Falco Wrath Aristocrat, turn 5 Lingering Souls Flashback.
There's no reason to do it on turn 3. Lingering Souls is not very good as a sorcery Midnight Haunting, especially against the Rock. This deck with mutilates and all kinds of value creatures. So waiting is 99% of the time the right play here.
You'll note that the curve I talked about there didn't really mention Blood Artist anywhere.
Right, yeah.
It's because it's not a very effective play, but he's going to run it on turn 2. And see how it creates no pressure here? Like, it's basically an irrelevant card. Michael can just literally ignore it.
Right, yeah. And even if Scavenging Ooze, any loss of life can be negated by the Ooze itself.
Literally every creature that dies will give the Ooze a life that he can get back.
Right, and looking at Nicholas's deck, he doesn't really have any removal per se.
Yeah.
So he's just going to be looking at that Ooze all funny-like here.
I'm kind of concerned with what he boarded out, you know, now that I'm thinking about it.
So it will make will make Liliana tick down, which I'm always fine with. I don't care pretty much. They can have, you know, Wall of Wood out and probably Edict them right there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, amusingly, you know, if Michael had ticked up here, playing Liliana, you could have just flashback to Lingering Souls in your turn without the Ooze getting in the way.
Yep, could have got him right there.
Get a little value.
But Nicholas is going to go probably play, it looks like he has a Doom Traveler here. He's going to pay 2 mana. That's too much. So he's gonna
the Dragonstall Summit comes into play tapped.
He's
short the Swamper Mountain Necessary. And you see now, he's kind of like, the way he chose to curve out this game, he's wound up basically just being off by a turn on a lot of things. To be fair, I did miss the Summit from his turn 2 evaluation. I think I would have rather played Dragonskull Summit tapped than played Blood Artist.
Definitely. And even if he went the other route with Intangible Virtue, the natural reaction would be Liliana plus here, discard Lingering Souls, and then he would have had 2/2/2s in play.
Flashback, play your
Doom
Dragon
Traveler.
Skull Summit tap.
Or you
could play the Cavern on
yeah.
Human and
There's
Doom
lots of
Traveler.
different ways he could have gone it. But now he's going to whiff here.
Lifebane Zombie, Bricka.
Yep.
Lifebane Zombie, really not a good card against the Humans deck. Yeah, it's got a fair number of white creatures in it. However, they are Champion of the Paris, Doom Traveler, and Cartel Sky. You know what all those cards have in common? They are cheaper than Lifebane Zombie.
yes. Never board and cancel to stop the a 2-drop. It's not an effective plan there.
It's not going to work out. Also, Lifebane Zombie notoriously weak against Zathrid Necromancer. That guy just blocks it up. Makes a 2/2 in the process. Not where you want to be.
Nope, definitely not. So Michael's getting a little information. He sees what's happening next turn. At this point, there will be an Aristocrat with haste, killing Liliana, stopping that nonsense from happening. So apparently, did we miss the? I didn't see a Lingering Souls in his hand.
It's in the graveyard now. He's removing it.
So that was tricky.
I think Nicholas just threw it to the graveyard immediately and then revealed the other.
Yeah. I would have probably discarded the Intangible Virtue. It's just too dangerous if Michael has that 4th land.
I agree. I discard the Intangible Virtue and then just leave open the green land on my turn, because that also messes with Nicholas's play a lot. Like if he plays a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, now you got to think he might Tragic Slip my guy, so maybe I shouldn't play this Falcon Wrath. But instead, it's just going to go down like this.
Yep, and there's a second Intangible Virtue. Not so great at this point, but he is going to be able to kill Liliana. The Ooze right now, still a 2/2, so everything's pretty manageable. It really depends on what's in Michael's hand.
Yeah. If he has a Mutilate or something like that, this could get a little awkward.
Yeah. So there goes Lily. But it did take down your favorite card there, the Blood Artist.
Yeah.
Slain before doing too much there. Siphoning a life.
Tragic Slip is really the biggest concern for Nicholas from this position, as it eliminates the Aristocrat, and he doesn't really have a lot going for him after that.
Yeah, he's pretty Aristocrat or bust here, it looks like, at this point.
He's got the Virtue with Doom Traveler and Necromancer, 2 virtues in fact, so he can, make a reasonable token army. But Michael's deck is designed to beat those kinds of armies. He can just play a Thragtusk, and that basically defeats all of those cards combined.
Yeah. So in crashes 5, bringing Nicholas down to 12 life, and we'll see if he has it. He's going to pay 2 life, so probably a Thragtusk here.
Sounds like a Thraggle-Waggle to me.
Yeah, usually this is Thragtown here. Oh, nope, it's going to be a Demon.
Demon.
With the mana open to eat the old Blood Artist there.
That also works out.
Alright, so Demon's good here, because I don't think Nicholas, even though he has the Doom Traveler, I don't think he's willing just to throw it away right now to tap it. So he draws a Sink Collector, so he gets to take a look at Michael's hand and see if he has a Tragic Slip or other things that might put a damper on his plans.
Yeah, should definitely leave open. I guess I assume the Cavern's on Human, but maybe it's not.
Right.
Well, if he's going to play the Necromancer, we should definitely be leaving open a colored land to continue threatening Tragic Slip.
Yeah.
So I would be doing that for starters.
Right.
I feel like Nicholas seems to maybe have checked out of this game a little bit. He's just like,
Demons and crazy things bother me.
He's going to attack. He's apparently offering Michael the ability to trade Desecration Demon with the 2 front halves of Doom Traveler and Zathrid Necromancer by blocking.
I like the no block here.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Demon's much more valuable alive. Michael actually, Necromancer, Sack Outlet, and Doom Traveler can produce some fun things here. So
yeah, he can make a lot of tokens, and he does have those intangible virtues. But at the same time, Michael's winning the race reasonably well, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's going to sack Doom Traveler to Demon's Trigger, it looks like.
Yeah, getting 2 tokens in the process.
Yep. He'll get a Zombie and a Spirit. The Zombie will be tapped, so it can't block Lifebane Zombie this turn.
Right.
Unless he's missing the Zombie trigger. Maybe the judge is just getting the Zombie token. Well.
Right. Alright, so he points at it, so he realizes it. Alright, so
he may have noticed it. If the Spirit token is already in play, then he may be getting it ruled that he passed the point where he could put a Zombie into play. But I'm not sure if he noted it before or not. The judge may have just been confirming.
Okay, so he's going to go ahead and
Try to be clear with your triggers out there, boys and girls.
Yeah,
just as a heads up.
Oh, simple thing, just say zombie trigger, spirit trigger. Good to go. All right, so in crashes both creatures here. The ooze at this point can become a 4/4, so it's basically unkillable. I think at 12 though, are we in the point where we're blocking? I think Necromancer jumps in front of Lifebane Zombie. Yeah,
I definitely put Necromancer on Lifebane Zombie. Probably let it trade. I can't really think of a reason I would want the 5/2 Falcon Wrath other than, you know, maybe I want to be able to actually fight with that demon at some point, but I don't think that's going to realistically happen.
I think it's trade time, and then I think we play 2 Intangible Virtues and see if we can get crazy here.
Yep. So that'll put Nicholas to 8 if he takes that line, and it'll offer him, if he just goes Virtue next turn, he'll be able to attack for, you know, a fair bit. He'll have 2 4/4s, a 3/3 flyer, and the 4/1 indestructible. And
a fair thing to mention too is the Intangible Virtue gives Vigilance, so you can use the attack mode and block mode here. But you definitely have to block one. It's a little bit too much damage just to take, I think. Yeah. I don't think your Necromancer, I think he might be, he's definitely better dead than alive at this point because of the Intangible Virtues. And because Nicholas doesn't really have anything besides a Sin Collector anyway. Oh, he actually is chump blocking Scavenging Ooze.
I don't really like that line.
No, he's only saving 1 damage and not killing something.
Well, he's going to sack 2 Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. That kind of creates a damage on his end. So
the problem is it leaves him with the creature there, the Lifebane Zombie. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, we'll see if it winds up costing him. If he's not planning, it's possible it won't actually change the clock too much, so it'll be curious to watch. But you also have to keep in mind, if Michael made this attack, he has something.
Right.
Because this attack leaves him dead unless he has a follow-up. So you already know he has a follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, at worst it's Thragtusk here, at best it's even just another 2-drop ooze, anything. So.
Yeah, virtually any card would be actually pretty scary here.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of awkward to say, but like, there's just a lot of cards.
That's the rock for you. It's either a very powerful creature or a removal spell, all pretty devastating.
Even something as subtle as I don't know, just a random, like a kill for that spirit token would be pretty bad news.
Looks like it's Thragtusk.
Yep, Thragtusk will rocket Michael up to 17. He can only take 15. Even if he doesn't block, so that keeps him safe. Then the Thragtusk obviously can block, so that's not really a big concern.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas was in dire straits, but he can pose a pretty big attack here. Michael being up 5 life obviously is going to hurt here, but let's see what kind of damage he can dish out. What do you draw here? It looks like a blood crypt.
I think that Nicholas just has to try and get there in the air. I think he just plays Virtue. And he can go ahead and send everything, I guess. I don't think it makes a big difference if he sends the zombies or not, because it won't change his clock too much. Right. But it will remove a zombie that he can use to sacrifice to Desecration Demon. But realistically, if Michael draws a kill spell for one of the creature, for the Spirit or the Falcon Wrath, he'd probably be dead anyway. So he's going to send everybody. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I like this tech.
He'll get a trade in here, and he'll get in 12 damage. Am I counting that right? I am counting that right.
4, 7, 12. Yep.
Did we have him at the wrong life total before?
Yes, he should be at 17.
Yeah, okay, we haven't updated. He should be at 17 for the Thragtusk's game 5.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So now he's going to go to 5, and now he's just dead to Falcon Wrath Aristocrat if it connects again. Yeah. Assuming that Michael doesn't have the mana to kill the spirit and exile some creatures from the graveyard. Keep in mind there are 3 creatures, so he's at a pseudo 8 life, depending on what actually transpires next turn.
But bad news for Michael is that he has 8 power in the air, flying. I think at this point, Michael being at 9, he has to sack. Does he have to sack the zombie to the Desecration Demon?
I mean, he has to block it either way.
Right.
So.
I think that spirit's more valuable than the zombie token.
Well, he's got a chump block to survive, right? Because the ooze can grow to 6/6 in conjunction with a 3/3 beast token and a 3/1 intimidate guy. And here's where you're talking about trading with that Lifebane zombie. We got Michael to 6 instead of 7, basically.
But now he's got that extra creature that we could have taken the rest of the damage. I think also last turn maybe 1 Intangible Virtue and a Sin Collector might have been a little bit better because it gives you the blocker. And you only lose 2 damage, but I don't know if it was worth it.
Yeah, you do lose 2 damage. I don't think you can afford to lose the 2 damage probably.
Here Mutilate. That's going to kill everything on Nicholas's board and only kill Michael's. This should be. It might not be lethal here. I think it's for 4.
It's for 4, yep. So it's not lethal because the creatures will still be
Are
shrinked.
those 2 overgrown tombs? Because then it's for 5.
I don't think. Or no,
Yeah,
I guess those are 2 overgrown tombs. It's for 5 then.
Okay, so 5 still he gets to keep Desecration Demon. Oh, well, that kills Ooze though.
Yeah, it does. That's why I'm kind of like, why wouldn't he attack first? I actually think he was just fine swinging.
Yeah, now Nicholas can draw like a Lingering Souls would be pretty good here, right?
Yeah, he's definitely got options.
Oh, he's conceding.
He's conceding instead. It's possible that Nicholas did not calculate the fact that the demon would be shrunk down from the Mutilate as well.
Right,
Thinks
yeah,
he's taking a lot more damage than he is.
He was only taking like 2 damage from that.
Yeah, he's not dead.
No, they gave Nicholas the win. No, Michael won. Okay, I got it. Yeah, so...
he wasn't dead there at all.
No, actually, quite the contrary. Michael was out of cards. Nicholas could draw like Lingering Souls or something, something to sustain there. He didn't really have a lot of removal spells, but Lingering Souls wouldn't be bad with 2 Intangible Virtues.
He already had that Sin Collector in hand, so at a minimum, he can fade the demon for 1 more turn.
Right, yeah. I think it was a premature concession.
Yeah.
But we were going to game 3. I think it was clear that the Intangible Virtues did a pretty good job there, but he should listen to your advice and take out the Blood Artist, because it just doesn't have enough in-game impact early on.
The problem is Michael gets to control whether the Blood Artist is good. If mutilating against the Blood Artist is bad, he's not going to do it. If it's good, he's going to do it. So it's not this kind of insurance policy you would get from like a legitimate counterspell or disruptive option like that, where you're like, on this aggro deck, and this is my insurance against a Wrath effect.
Exactly. It's not like a Supreme Verdict deck, which is where Blood Artist is much better against, because they don't really have a lot of targeted removal. Where he can just obviously at any point deal with the Blood Artist with a simple Tragic Slip or something small, or not even that. Like you said, he can just ignore it flat out if it does nothing. So he has that freedom to do so. And
I think our post-board plan is like to just make it even more sense. Like we transition into this token-based deck, right? Like we're just making it so that all of our cards trade more unfavorably with opposing removal.
Right.
So when you think about it that way, like the Blood Artist, it fits with the idea of obviously making a bunch of creatures sweet with Blood Artist, but it's a card that specifically trades with removal well for the opponent. Like it and Champion of the Parish are the only 2 cards. Champion of the Parish, and Skurzek High Priest. I'm just assuming the High Priest is gone. Right. Those are the only 3 cards in our deck that actually trade with like a Doomblade or whatever. Well, not a Doomblade obviously, but you get what I'm saying. An abrupt decay or something, and give the opponent an actual even trade. So if we just take all of those out, then all of those 1-for-1s are no longer 1-for-1s.
Right.
They don't really do anything.
And the Mutilate can also hurt him. He can hurt himself with that. And I think that if your deck is down to a token base, like you said, or value creature based deck, then it'll really give Michael a hard time winning, because half of his removal spells don't even kill Aristocrat. Or if he's killing Necromancers with Abrupt Decay, that's not really the value you want here. So. And
like I didn't say Champion, was kind of lumped in with these creatures that trade 1-for-1, but I think you keep Champion in just because the fact that he gives you a turn 1 play, it means your opponent's just already on the back foot. Like if they don't have a turn 1 slip, then they have to spend turn 2 killing your 1-drop. You get to play your 2-drop. They have to spend turn 3 on that, and so on and so forth. It just creates a lot of momentum. Yeah. And on the off chance they don't have a way to kill it, Champion of the Parish has a lot of payoff.
Especially when you have Gather the Townsfolk in your hand. That's a 2-card combo in your hand where you're just attacking for an absurd amount of damage. All right, so turn 1 Sacred Foundry. Tap. I see Gather the Townsfolk, plural. I see the Right on Time Doom Traveler. He's going to pay 2 life, and I think he's going to gather his folk here. Now, Gather the Townsfolk's a cool card, but it was definitely overshadowed by Lingering Souls.
Oh yeah, that's a polite way to put it.
Replaced. And same thing with Midnight Haunting. I think all those cards, even before Lingering Souls, were very played. Like especially Midnight Haunting had a ton of play. Obviously, Gather the Townsfolk came out with Lingering Souls, but Midnight Haunting was around beforehand, and it was definitely a standard player because of that.
To be honest, like during the Delver era, the Midnight Haunting still saw some play. In fact, I think Midnight Haunting and Gather the Townsfolk saw probably about as much play as Lingering Souls, all told. There was that invitational where the Champion Delver deck had Gather the Townsfolk, and that was really popular. And eventually, Esper Spirits kind of came onto the scene for Lingering Souls, and Midnight Haunting was indexed before that. So.
Right. And it's
Beautiful, stepping up.
All right.
Bumps off a
don't
human.
Don't know if Nicholas saw that. Sometimes it's hard to see.
Maybe he's planning to just slip it.
Yeah, let's see if he's got slip. He does.
Yep.
I think he has Sin Collector in his hand. I think I might have rather just drop that. I don't like Sin Collector on turn 4. Mainly because Michael's deck, did he miss a second land draw? No, it's a mutable.
Yeah, he's just on
tricked me for a minute.
Yeah. Just on the draw with a dead land.
the reason being is because Michael's deck has a ton of 2-mana spells. He's got Sign and Bloods, and all the removal spells are at the 2-mana slot. So you want to get the Sin Collector in ASAP.
Ratchet Bomb will definitely affect Nicholas's play. He'll not want to lean on just going all tokens like he did in Game 2.
Right.
It's also a great card against Intangible Virtue as it sweeps multiple copies. It answers Cartel Aristocrat at the same time.
Right.
So
I think its best power, like is what
factors.
you just said there. I think it's on 2, getting rid of those Intangible Virtues is probably what Ratchet Bomb gets used for more than others. You would think it's primarily for tokens, but whenever I'm playing against tokens, I had Ratchet Bomb. My #1 goal is I'm going to get this to 2 to get rid of the real threat in the token deck. So.
Sin Collector reveals an ideal hand for Nicholas to see. Michael has Putrefy, Mutilate, and nothing but lands after that. Just going to snag the Mutilate and continue about our business. Putrefy, like I said, we've transitioned our deck into this token role. Now the 1-for-1 removal really doesn't pain us. Getting our Sin Collector Putrefied, we don't care. Get our token Putrefied, we don't care. Doom Traveler Putrefied, care only slightly because of the Ratchet Bomb, but that's still a 3-for-2. So what are you going to do?
I think you're dead on. I think a hand like that is optimal. Michael kept a pretty loose one, it looks like, because I don't think he had the Ratchet Bomb, because I think he would have played on turn 2.
You think he would have turn 2'd it over playing the Mutable?
I think he would have played the Mutable and turn 2'd it too. I mean, just take 2 damage, you could just block the next turn. So I think he kept a Putrefy, Mutilate 5-lander here.
Does he have another Mutilate, or what is that card? It looked like
he drew a spell. I can't tell what it is. Nicholas really searching for his 4th land here, so he can play that Aristocrat. That's a real powerful card at knowing what Michael's hand is. It's just pretty much the indestructibility of it is obviously weaker against Michael's Tragic Slip Mutilate deck, but knowing he's blank on both those cards is pretty good here.
Wow.
Here's what he drew.
It looks like he
did draw another Mutilate.
I assume it's another one. I can't confirm the presence of the Putrefy. Maybe he exiled the Putrefy instead?
I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine it either, but
for sure, yeah. I see the Putrefy in his hand. Okay,
so it is a second Mutilate.
If I was Michael at 17, would you wait a turn? You know he has Aristocrat, and he's like, I think I'll wait on the Mutilate. You're only taking 4. You can, like...
I think that's a reasonable call. The thing is, Nicholas missed the land drop, so you're like, how long are you willing to wait,
Yeah, I think the only reason I'd wait is because I have the Putrefy, the worst case scenario, and the turn I Putrefy the 2/1 Sin Collector, so I'm only taking 2. The clock is shrunk. Because looking at my hand, if I only have 1 answer to Aristocrat in hand, I know that I'm just stone dead if he draws that 4th land there.
Not really sure what's going on.
I guess it was
this discussion.
Maybe he didn't remove anything with Sin Collector, just cast a Mutilate? Can't imagine.
I would assume that's not what happened. So Nicholas did hold back this turn. Didn't want to play out Lingering Souls into the Ratchet Bomb. Didn't want to play out a Cartel Aristocrat into the potential, Mutilate. I guess we're going to have the lowly spirit send in. Definitely going to play an Aristocrat here, the Cartel variety. Or he drew Zathar Necromancer. He drew Zathar Necromancer.
Right,
I think Zathar Necromancer's better.
Definitely
lets us
better.
line up 2 Aristocrats on the next turn if we really want to.
Right.
Obviously, we have to be wary of the Ratchet Bomb, but as soon as we can force him to start having to tick that around.
All right, well, Michael drew. Looked like another spell.
Someone on Twitter is trying to point out that Mutilate was never put in the graveyard. The Mutilate would be exiled by Sin Collector.
Right.
The second Mutilate would go to the graveyard because it gets cast and resolves and goes to the graveyard afterwards. Sin Collector exile spell, so there shouldn't be 2 Mutilates in the graveyard.
Right.
Should be 1 and 2 zones.
All right, so he said go. I think he has another removal spell. That might be a Tragic Slip.
He still has that Putrefy, right?
Yeah, he's got the Putrefy in the middle of his hand, and then he has another spell to the right. I'm not sure what it is.
Respond by Putrefying the Necromancer. Doesn't want to let any shenanigans happen with that Doom Traveler. Probably a little premature. There's not really anything he could do with the Doom Traveler. He is going to cast Cartel Aristocrat anyway.
Yeah.
Although it's possible Michael's just like, well, I'm going to pop this Ratchet Bomb this turn anyway.
Yeah, I think he's just like reeling him in to get a more Ratchet Bomb bang for your buck here. And Michael going to 11 is going to take this. He's going to see Cartel Aristocrat. And then it's going to get a little tricky from here in, because Michael being out of spells, as we know, so a lowly Ratchet Bomb's not going to save the day here. All right, so he draws for turn. He plays another land, taps 4, and is this a 3rd Mutilate? No, it's a Demon.
Just a Demon.
Just a Demon. Here's a situation where the Demon's not the greatest.
Apparently we do have an answer. The He didn't exile to Sin Collector, although I'm not actually like. I'm pretty sure you have to once the hand gets revealed. I don't think you can choose not to.
Yeah, I think with the new rules, I think it has to. You have to choose.
Well, that's not even a new rule. I know that rule from way back when.
Oh no. The rule is you have to choose it, but once you mess up and you return away, you can't go back and fix it. That's the problem. Yeah. So Michael gets to cast and mutilate. So as I guess the horror happened, he got to use the mutilate that he picked out.
Yeah.
That's real rough. Real rough.
Ratchet Bomb in response to Blood Artist.
Think how different this game would be.
Yeah.
Well, the game would be over, I think, but now Michael's got a shot.
Ratchet Bomb in response to Blood Artist. Nicholas gives his Aristocrat Pro Black to go ahead and squeak in 2 damage. And now he has a Blood Artist in play, so there's that.
And look at his hand. Nicholas' hand is just gas. Aristocrat, a Lingering Souls, another Aristocrat of the Cartel. So Michael's really going to need spell after spell after spell here. Something like a Scavenging Ooze would be fantastic here. He'd be able to regain a ton of missed life. He's going to go into combat.
Doesn't announce his trigger?
Yeah, I think
maybe he did.
Nicholas would pause him if he did.
See it. Yeah.
I think we just take it here.
I think we would take 6 as well. Yeah, we have that Blood Artist getting rowdy.
Demon City.
All right, well, things are about to get more interesting. I'm pretty sure we're going to just go Lingering Souls, sack, get in for 4 basically, put Michael to 5.
With that Blood Artist too. He might just slam Aristocrat.
We did just draw that 4th land for Aristocrat.
And
Is that lethal?
Let's see, Aristocrat.
You can sack
Doom Traveler.
You want to sack Aristocrat to the... You want to sack Doom Traveler to the Aristocrat to make it a 5/2, and then sack the Spirit to tap the Demon, and that's 1, 2, plus 7. That's 9. He's got exactly lethal right now, assuming Michael has no response.
7, 8, 9. Yes. 10. If you want to sack all your boys at the end
It's very important you sack the Doom Traveler first, though.
Right. And he
to the Aristocrat, not to the Demon. No, not to the Demon. No, not to the Demon. No. you want to make your guy a 5/2. You can sack the Blood Artist at the end of the chain, and you'll still have exact.
I think it's going to be exact. Yeah, it's just a little bit dangerous. He can get because he has 2 mana open. If he has Abrupt Decay here, he can stop the shenanigans or Tragic Slip. But it looks like it's not going to.
Yeah, because he knows.
He does have a slip.
Wow, does he really?
Yeah.
Wow, blowout.
Yeah. So instead of death, we have a 3-point damage here because of the loss of life from Blood Artist.
Yep.
Putting him at 5.
Assuming that we do in fact trigger that. So he's going to take. He should be taking 3 and going to 5.
Michael's still pretty dead if he doesn't draw a spell here, because I'm positive he has 2 lands in his hand. So Nicholas will untap and Lingering Souls and kill him, unless Michael draws an answer. Problem is, he has to draw an answer for Blood Artist now because he can't really kill Cartel Aristocrat minus the 3rd Mutilate in his deck. And then Nicholas will just untap, play Lingering Soul, sack some guys, kill him here.
Oh, we're...
Rewind.
Rewinding to... I have no idea what's happening right now.
Alright, we're going all the way back.
They rewound to get the +1/+1 counter onto the Demon, apparently.
Okay.
He's triggering the Blood Artist, which he had already triggered, so he should be at 8. He was at 9. And now Tragic Slip will kill Falconwrath Aristocrat. That will trigger Blood Artist again. We're having some confusion with this rewind. Sorry, guys. I'm aware it probably looks pretty awkward.
All right.
Tragic Slip on Falconwrath Aristocrat. All right.
A little deja vu here.
We should be winding up at 5/14 when all is said and done.
Yep. So looking at Michael's deck, he wants a Miracle Mutilate here. The last one, the lowly 1-outer here. Golgari Charm ain't bad either.
Yeah, Golgari Charm would be a pretty nice one.
These are 2 cards that needs to be one of those 2. The rest of his cards in his deck are cute.
He's got some other good ones. You know, like Thragtusk, Disciple of Bolus would be pretty serious business.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thragtusk again would have been... but you nailed it right there. Disciple would just put Michael right back in this. Not only is he going to gain 1 billion life here, refilling that hand's pretty epic.
If he doesn't peel an answer this turn, he is dead to Nicholas's hand.
Right.
Lingering Souls will tap both demons down, even if Michael doesn't attack with them. And the Blood Artist will do the rest at that point with Cartel Aristocrat's help. However, he obviously is going to propose the attack, and Nicholas will sack Or I guess he doesn't have to sack. I would.
It.
I would sack because you risk dying to like just a slip on your spirit token, right? Like if you just let him.
13 damage. He would go.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
He would still be alive to the attack. Never mind.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna.
I was thinking through with him on 12 from before.
Right. You definitely have to attack here because you can't just win by saying go.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with that.
I don't think I want to block. Just take it. Can't die. It's impossible to die.
Yeah,
so.
I would have taken it there, but I don't think it's going to wind up mattering too much.
Unless Michael drew something, Nicholas can pretty much just do whatever he wants as long as he keeps those 2 cards in play right now. So let's see. It looks like a Ratchet Bomb. Not good enough.
Yep, Ratchet Bomb will not do it.
Alright, so he's going to give his guy Pro Black. He's going to attack for 2. Sack some guys.
Yeah, just play the Lingering Souls. Michael can activate Ratchet Bomb during main phase 1, which will prevent Nicholas from being able to use the Lingering Souls tokens to tap the Desecration Demon, but he can still just sack them to the Aristocrat to get Pro Black.
Right.
So that'll do the trick.
Yeah. And he's going to Lingering Souls. Some spirits in play. Get his guy Pro Black to him. Actually, 1 him, and then he can just sack whatever he wants after that. So let's see what happens here. Yep, sack, Pro Black.
Pro Black, Blood Artist you to 3.
Michael's just hoping his hand can bluff something.
Fog you.
Fog, yes, take that. What's the one that if you're less than 5 life and they don't untap? They get you. Still dead though, just the restraint triggers.
Goes to 1. Nicholas will sack, and Michael picks him up. Hard-fought battle.
Definitely harder than it should have been with a free Mutilate. It was made it very interesting, you know. Like you said, he could have drawn a plethora of cards. Could have drawn a Disciple of Bolus. Could have drawn Thragtusk. Could have drawn Sign in Blood or Underworld Connections to rip one of those other outs that he had. Yep. So being able to ignore that Saint Collector kind of gave Michael a lot of outs there. But Nicholas Mudd will be the victor. The Black, White, Red Humans deck. Also, just a variation of the Aristocrats that we've seen for the last couple months. Will improve to 8-1 and possibly draw into top 8.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility for him. We're not that far over the cut to 10 rounds. We're at about 450. 410's the cut, so you know, could be a lot of X1s drawing next round.
Could be clean. I like him clean, you know.